Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Matty J Plays some more PGA Tour 2K25. We are a mere days away from release for the new game. I'm super excited. So I thought in this video, let's give you a helping hand for you to decide where you want to start in the new game in terms of your difficulty settings. So I'm going to look to talk you through all of the different settings that you can apply to increase or decrease the level of difficulty within the game. We're also then going to look at the custom presets they have within the game, some of which will be required for you to play the ranked play and ranked tournaments they're going to have. So we will take you through all of that in this video. Not only that, obviously on Friday for the early release, I will be going live, I'm hoping in the evening, so keep an eye out for that, and I will look to get up episode 1 of my career at some point over the weekend, hopefully Friday, you never know. But guys, if you are enjoying the content and if you are enjoying the channel, please do smash that like button, and if you are new here and like what you see, please feel free to subscribe. But let's go, let's check out the difficulty settings for 2K25 and for you guys to decide where you want to start your career in the game. Check it out. Peace out, and I'll catch you all soon. Okay, so let's start by showing you how to navigate to your settings. So if you're on your PlayStation or Xbox, press the options key or the start key as it used to be told, and on the PC you can click on quests and profiles. Under quests you'll have all your different quests to do, but we're going to look today at the settings, and in particular the difficulty settings for PGA 2K25. So there are multiple default presets you can go through on these settings, starting with perfect swing, amateur, pro-am, pro, master and legend. I will talk you through each of them and the differences, but before we do that, let's just go down the list and I will tell you what each of these settings do and how they affect how the game will play. So obviously the first one is swing difficulty. As we just suggested, there are 6 different swing difficulties, from amateur, pro-am, pro, master, legend and the stock perfect swing. Rhythm preference. So under rhythm preference, what this does is sets whether the rhythm, so how quickly you transition from your backswing to your downswing, that will impact your flight of your ball, the distance it goes. So you can turn this to off, you can have it to disabled just for putting, or you can have it to on for everything. So that's your rhythm. Swing bias is the one I think that's probably causing a lot of contention. So swing bias is at the start of the game when you create your My Player, you pick a draw or a fade. Once you pick a draw or a fade, that'll determine whether your swing is down bottom left to top right or bottom right to top left. Obviously on the earlier settings this is set to off. If you turn that on, then you'll have to swing on a wonky line. Swing context input offset, it's a lot of words there, but essentially what this does is this adds an element on top of the swing bias. So if you're swinging bottom left to top right and then you're on a hill, it'll either make it more left to right or actually change it to a right to left swing. Also, if you add shot shaping, it'll also change your bias more left to right or right to left depending on which shot shaping you use. I've seen people call that the early dirty cheat, where you can have swing bias on, add a bit of shaping and pretty much straighten up your swing. So the options under swing context input are off. So you can have it to just change with your lie angle only, you can have it to change with your shot shaping only, or you can have it on to change with both. So that's your swing context input. Vibration then, so obviously vibration provides contextual input feedback on your controller when you're using the swing stick. So when you pull back, it vibrates if you are offline, and it also vibrates when you get to the correct power. So if you have this on, you'll have both sets of vibration on. If you have it set to correction only, that'll just let you know if you're swinging off a straight line. So if you're trying to swing and hit a point at the back, if you're not going near that point, it'll start vibrating more and more. If you have transition only, that will only vibrate when you reach the desired power and won't let you know if you're swinging offline. And if you have it off, there'll be no vibrations at all, and makes it very difficult to know when to hit the ball. So that's vibration. Lie range is up next. So you have the classic view. So lie penalty percentage range is displayed along with lie depth and surface visuals. So that's kind of like 2K23. So on your little ball in the bottom left-hand corner, it'll show you a percentage of lie. So if you're on the fairway, it's usually 98 to 100%. If you're in the rough, it can be anything from 50, 60 to 100%. And obviously in the bunkers, it can be absolutely dunked. So that will show you your penalty percentage. If you turn that to simulation, it's not displayed, and all you get is a kind of little graphic on the ball that you're supposed to guess how stuck in the mud it is. So I always like to play with the classic one, just because I know what percentage is going to affect my clubs. But I think simulation, if you're playing true sim, is quite a good option. Distance control assist. So what this does is when you're pulling back, you can always pull to 100% if you have this set to off. If you have this set to on, it stops your backswing at the intended distance. So if you want to hit a 90-yard shot with a 110-yard club, you pull your aim marker back to 90 yards and you can't actually swing past 90 yards, so you'll always hit that distance. So again, a good aid to make things a little easier for yourselves if you're not getting the transition right. Putt previews. So this does exactly what it says on the tin. When you're on the green, you can press, I think it's square on the controller, square or X on the PlayStation or Xbox, and that lets you see a little line that draws where your putt's going to go. So on here you have multiple options. You can have unlimited, you can have 18, so 1 per hole, you can have 9, so 1 every hole, you can have 3 for the full round, or you can have 0. So that's your putt previews. So quite a useful tool if you're learning how to read the greens and you're not quite sure what the beads will do. Chuck it on unlimited and just do a lot of putt previews till you can figure out the right angle to take your putt on. Course yardage, you have 3 options here. On this will display the precise distances to the pin in the UI. So basically it tells you the distance to the pin. Book only displays the current distance to the pin in the UI, but allows the measurement cursor in the yardage book. And off will disable all course yardage. So basically it tells you how far away you are from the pin. The Pro Vision with settings then are pretty useful, especially if you're new to the game. So they all pretty much tell you different things and will show you visually by the blue line on the screen what will happen. So the wind, that blue line will adjust depending on the wind. So if you've got a 20 mile per hour wind from the east, that line will push you way more left to get you back on track or show you where you're going when you're aiming. So if you have wind on, it'll show you the effect that the wind has on the trajectory arc. Again, same for lie penalty. So it'll show you the effect the lie penalty will have on the trajectory arc. Lie angle will show you the effect the lie angle will have on the arc. The elevation will show you the effect the elevation has on the arc. And then the trajectory, it visualizes the shot trajectory via the arc. And if it's set to on, obviously every one of these you've got on, that will show you. Aim only displays trajectory arc when you're adjusting your shot, and off will disable it completely. So if you're using these Pro Visions to aid you, to let you know, so it pretty much shows you where your ball's going to land, it's quite a useful tool, again, to help the game help you. So I quite like them for those, certainly if you're just starting out on the game. No harm in just putting these on and seeing what it does to your ball, seeing what a headwind does to you, because if you turn this off, you'll just have a full shot and you won't know how much the wind's going to impact it. Scout camera. So this gives you a view of where your shot will land with the inclusion of the enabled Pro Vision settings. So again, you can press triangle, I think it's triangle or Y, triangle on the PlayStation, Y on the Xbox, and this will basically zoom up the course and show you where your ball's going to land. If you have all the Pro Visions on, this will obviously change. If you don't have the Pro Visions on, this will just take you the full distance of the club and won't adapt for anything. So if you're in a 20 mile per hour headwind, this will take you 270 yards, say, but it won't account for the 20 yards that headwind will take off. So just bear that in mind. But the scout camera on gives you a reticle and distance UI enabled. Off takes it off completely and you can't see where you're going. Live grid does what it says on the tin. So it shows you the detail of the terrain beneath your feet. I think you press L1 or R1 to see the lines at the bottom of your feet. You can turn it off to disable it completely. Green grid again does the same, shows you the the undulations of the green. So basically you'll have the green will be divvied up into a load of squares, and those squares they'll be downhill or uphill, and they'll also have left to right or right to left breaks visualized on them. If you turn it off, you don't get to see any of that, and you just have to guess pretty much using WormCam how the greens are playing. Shot setup feedback. So this is the little meter in the bottom right hand corner that you all look at as you're swinging your club. So this is where the Evo swing is displayed. You can have it on, which I'd strongly recommend while you're getting used to the Evo swing. When you turn it off, if you're a little bit more accustomed to the Evo swing, you can still hold the shot shaping button I talked about earlier. So L1 I think is to apply shot shaping. You can still hold the shot shaping and see which angle you need to swing at. Then when you let go of the shot shaping, it disappears again. So pretty useful to have that either on or off, or set it to fade after a few seconds so you can just catch the angle before you have to play your shot. But if you don't like any of the information around your shot, then just turn that off. Pin preference entirely up to you. Does what it says on the tin. The pin can be out or in, so pretty much easy. And you can also put the pin back in using certain buttons. I can't remember what they are on the controllers because I never do it. The A marker, that'll basically displays the A marker with distance elevation information on it. Marker only removes the distance elevation information, so you just have a marker but it won't tell you where the information is. I tend to use marker only and then put the distance and elevation in the heads up display, so the HUD, and off removes the entire A marker UI. And then the final category is wind speed. So wind speed, you can have it to on, where it tells you the exact wind speed. So at the top of the screen you'll have a little circle with an arrow pointing in the direction of the wind and what that mile per hour is. If you turn it to meter only, it's just an arrow with a little bit of meter that fills up to tell you how powerful the wind is. And there you have it, guys. So that's a rundown of the settings. So now what I want to do is go through the gameplay presets and how they're set up and how they can help you, because I think it's really, really useful to talk about them and then to see where to start. So your perfect swing, they basically run from easiest to hardest, and I'll try and put some gameplay footage up as I talk through them. So perfect swing, so this is swing difficulty is perfect swing. Essentially what the perfect swing is, guys, is no matter what you do, the ball's always going to go perfect, perfect, perfect. So what I do like about it is the heads-up display will show where you went wrong with your swing, but it won't impact your swing. So you will still hit it to the desired target you want to hit it to. So rhythm doesn't impact you. There's no offset for the bias. There's no context offset. The vibration is there, so you know the distance you want to hit it. The lie range is there. Distance control is also on, so if you pull back your shot, you can't go past the distance you wanted to hit it. You have unlimited putt previews, course yardage is on, Pro Vision Wind is on. So basically all these are ticked to on, and they will show you exactly where your ball is going to land. So you'll have a little blue line, it'll show you exactly where the ball is going to land. Lie grid is on, green grid is on, shot set feedback is on, pin preference is out, and A marker is on. So it is the easiest setting on the game, and this is brilliant, guys, pretty useful for designers, I would think, who want to test their courses without having to worry about playing the perfect shots, because now they can actually play the perfect shot, so they can test their courses fully in all conditions and see just how they actually operate. So great for designers, and also really good for first people who are just coming into the game, want to get used to the swing mechanics. They can use the feedback in the bottom right to see where they're going wrong, even though the ball won't go wrong on screen. And also I've set my missus up as perfect swing. She thinks she's a world-class golfer now, so it keeps her happy as well. If I ever make her play this game with me, she can play on that, and it doesn't really impact her, and it's just good fun, right? And it's really useful, especially for anyone who struggles with the swing and the settings. It's just it's an interesting and good setting I think they brought into the game. If you move up from perfect swing, you'll see a few of these change now. So if you move to amateur, your rhythm is now on when you swing, but it's not on for putting. So when you swing your driver, you'll have 4 shot feedbacks, as hopefully you can see in the video. You'll have 4, and then when you putt, you'll only have 3 shot feedback points in the Evo swing. If you haven't checked out my Evo swing, guy, and you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out my Evo swing video. It explains the Evo swing and the bias and how that all works. Again, the bias is off, the context is off. The vibration is on, the lie range is classic, distance control assist is on, putt previews are unlimited, course charges are on. Now what they do on amateur, they turn off the wind, so you have to gauge the wind yourself. So I like that. It's breaking you in gently. They still have your arc showing you what the penalty does, the angle does, the elevation does, but now it doesn't show you what the effect wind has on you. So in the game, if you're playing in a stronger wind, you have to judge the wind yourself. That's all they're asking on this setting. Scout cameras on, lie grids are all on, shot setup feedback's on, pin preferences out, aim mark is on, and the wind speed is displayed. So essentially on this one, you have to judge the wind and you have to judge your line for your putting, but you do have unlimited putt previews, and there's no rhythm, so you can't underhit the putt really. So quite a nice easy setting to break you into the game and get you to learn wind, and that's what I like. So you saw the first one, they're just showing you what would happen if you hit perfects every time. This one now, they're saying, right, okay, now you go out and judge the wind, figure that out for yourself, and once you figured out the wind, we will move on to the Pro-Am settings. Now the rhythm is on for all your shots, so you will have the 4 points of the Evo swing, swing path, contact, transition, and rhythm on the putter as well as on the driver. Your rhythm preference is on, your swing bias is off, but then they start inputting the context input offsets. So when you get a funky lie, you will then have to swing a little bit differently. So I like that. It's kind of warming you up for pro. So it's like, all right, we'll turn it off for your normal swings, but when you land on a hill, you're going to have to adjust your angle. So I like that. Vibration is still on, lie range is classic, distance control assist is off, so you can no longer be aided. You have to control the distance yourself by hitting the transition point at the bottom of your swing. Putt previews are still unlimited, so you can still do a putt preview as often as you like. If I'm playing, I like to just do one per hole and adjust from that if you're playing on these settings. Just because I think if you're there all day doing putt previews, what's the point? Try to get the read yourself, do a putt preview, see if it works. If you're not, adjust and then just hit it and hope for the best. Course charge is on. Now, interestingly, for whatever reason on Pro-Am, they've turned all of these off. So now, I say interestingly, now you have to read the whole game yourself. So you have to understand what the wind will do to your ball. You have to understand what the lie penalty will do if you're in the rough. You have to understand what the angle at your feet will do. And you have to understand what elevation will do. And I will do a video covering the impacts of wind, elevation, penalty, and angle once I've played the game enough and make sure it's as I understood it to be on 23. It'll probably be slightly different. So I just want to make sure I get the numbers right before I give any advice on that. But certainly, this is now saying, right, guys, figure it out for yourself. You can still see the trajectory of your ball, so that's fine. But with all these off, it obviously won't show you where it's actually going to land. So on the previous ones, it would actually show you where it's going to land. With this now, if you have a massive wind or lie penalty or funky angle or elevation, this will just show you the end point, but it won't actually tell you exactly where it's going to land because all of these 4 factors will impact that. Your scout camera is still on, your lie grids are still on, your green grid is on, shot setup feedback is on, pin preference again out, aim marker on, and wind speed as per normal. So it's a nice setting. It kind of warms you up quite nicely then. It's saying, right, figure out the game yourself. This is really good. I think when I started in 2K23, I started at Pro-Am in the career, and I think it's a good one because it's saying you guys figure out what actually is going to happen to your shot and then learn the game that way. I think it's the best way to learn. So then you move into what we'll call the more difficult settings. So the stock pro setting, swing difficulty obviously pro, rhythm is on, swing bias is now on. So when you get on a tee, if you just change from Pro-Am to pro, you're going to notice your swing line is set on an angle, either bottom left to top right or bottom right to top left, depending on if you put a draw or a fade. So it's really difficult and jarring at first to try and do that when you've been swinging straight on the lower level difficulties. You will adapt and you will get used to it, and it is quite an interesting one. But if you don't like the swing bias, you can still play on pro and turn that off. So it's not an issue. So, it's entirely, that's what I love about this game. It's entirely customizable on how you want to play. But let's just talk about the stock settings, and we'll talk more about customizing as we move on. So swing bias is on, all the context is on, so shot shaping and the lie angle at your feet will impact the level of angle you need to swing at. Vibration is still on, the lie range is still classic, so it'll show you the percentage you need to hit. Distance control assist is off, 0 putt previews now, so you've gone from having infinite to none. So they're like, right guys, now you need to read the greens yourself, and I like that. That's stepping up the level of difficulty again. All these are still off, so you learned in the previous settings to judge wind, lie penalty, lie angle, elevation. Now you're learning to judge the putting all on your own. The Pro Vision directory is aim only, so it only shows the arc when you're adjusting your shot, so it won't show it constantly. So that's the blue line you see on the screen. If you're trying to get rid of it, either have it as aim only or just turn it off. Scout camera is on, light grid is on, green grid is on, shot setup feedback is on. Pins out, aim marker on, wind speed is wind speed, so it will still show you the wind speed. So that's your pro settings. Now we're moving up to the fun and games, that is master. So under master, and again you can see it's a step by step, it's nice, it takes you through learning through each difficulty, gives you a new level of learning, which I really like. So rhythm preference is on, swing bias is obviously on, swing context is on, as we discussed previously. Now your vibration will only vibrate for transition only. So only when you're at the correct distance you want to hit the ball will you get a vibration. You won't have any vibration now for correction. So if you're swinging offline, it's not going to tell you. So it's like, right, figure that out. It's also now not going to tell you the percentage of your lie. So if you're in the rough, you don't know if you're going to hit 60% or 90%, other than by depicting a little picture in the bottom right hand corner. So again, very interesting setting, having simulation there. But it's pretty useful, and if you're going to play in the ranked master, this will be the setting, so you're going to have to get used to reading those little tiny ball pictures. Distance control assist is off, putt preview is zeros, course yardage is on, everything else is off. As we said before, scout camera is on, lie grid is off, green grid, so your lie grid is off, so you can't now look at what the feet are doing beneath you. You have to just guess if the ball's below or above your feet and make a kind of informed decision on whether you want to aim a bit more right or a bit more left, depending on whether it's above or below your feet. So again, interesting to have that set to off on Masters default. Green grid is on, shot setup feedback is on, pin preference is out, aim marker is on, and then the wind on this one then changes to just the meter. So they don't tell you what the lie of the land is doing at your feet. They also don't tell you the mile per hour of the winds or the kilometers per hour, depending on your vent. So you literally have to guess pretty much how bad the wind is impacting you. There is a little bar that fills up in the wind, so the higher the bar is, the higher the wind. So you can work it out, and it was the old settings we used to use on 23 anyway. So master again ramps up the difficulty slightly, and then you move into what I'm calling true sim in this game. So this is legend, 1.68 multiplier, and we'll talk about the multipliers in a minute. So this is legend, swing difficulty legend, rhythm preference on, swing bias on, swing context on, no vibration, so you don't know when you're at the desired power, you don't know if you're swinging offline. The game basically tells you nothing, so you have to judge it. You have to take practice swings really to check your power. Certainly I found that really difficult on the greens when playing on default legends, with no way to know if you're at the desired power. And I'll tell you why there's no way to know, because they turn the shot feedback off. So with no way to know, without doing lots of practice swings, it's really hard to judge. So again, this is why I'm saying it's probably more like a true sim setting. So vibration is fully off. The lie range again is simulation as per master. Distance control is off. No putt previews. Course yardage is in the book only. So that's all you get. Pro Vision wind is off. Pro Vision lie is off. Angle off. Elevation off. Trajectory off. Scout camera off. So you can't actually look where you're landing. So you can get a little map up. I think it's by pressing circle on the PlayStation, and I think it's B. Yes, B on the Xbox. You get a little map up, and that's the only way you have to guess where to aim, by looking at the map. So super solid. Lie grids are off. You do get the green grid on. As I said, the shot setup feedback is completely off, so there's no longer a little circle in the bottom right to show you which way to pull the club back, When the lines to stop at the right power, all that is gone. Pin preference is out. Aim marker is just a marker only, and the window speed is meter only. So I think this Legend on its stock settings is really true sim for me in the old game. And what I mean by true sim, you're getting no feedback from the game at all to let you know where to swing, how to swing, what to do, where to aim. You're just going out there, looking down the course, judging it visually by eye. So what you lie at your feet, etc., etc. So definitely a difficult preset. The one preset where I haven't scored under par yet, as you'll see from the videos I've put up. But you know, it's fun, it's different, and you can actually, this brings me on to the next thing, start tweaking all these gameplay difficulties. So if we just run back through them, when you play the game, you get XP, and your XP will determine how quickly your character levels up. And the number of XP multiplier you get obviously gives you more experience points quicker. So the higher this is, the quicker you level up your character. So obviously perfect swing, you're just getting 1 times. Amateur is 1.07. Pro-Am 1.26, Pro 1.39, Master 1.51, and gameplay difficulty 1.68. I think the maximum you can get it is if we turn off this and that. I think that is pretty much that off. I think that's it. Yeah, so 1.79 is the toughest difficulties in the game at the minute that you can get to. And what you can do though, guys, is if you find a setting you like to play on, so I like to play on Master, so I'll take you to I like to play on Master. I like to have the rhythm on, I like the swing bias on and that. I like the vibration on for transition only, so just at my power. I like the classic lie range, I like to be able to see what's happening at my feet. I don't have that, I have book only normally, or sometimes just on, depending on how I'm feeling. So we'll put that to book only. I will have all these off. I will have that off. I'll have the scout camera on though. So definitely want that on. I want the lie grids on. I want the green grid on. I want the setup feedback on as well. So you can see this is really bringing my multiplier back down. Pin preference out. And I also like to see the wind at first. I will eventually turn that off. And a marker, I want marker only. So that are my usual settings. So you can see I get a 1.5 pretty much % multiplier XP. So that's probably what I'll start the game on. I might actually start the game on Pro Swing and move up. It's not much difference between Pro and Master. It's 0.7. So it's 0.2 each one. So if you like those kind of settings, I would recommend starting on Pro-Am with that really. And the reason I say that is each of these, I forgot to talk about swing difficulties, has a much easier forgiveness. So what I talk about forgiveness, I mean, when you miss the swing path, the contact point, the transition, or the rhythm, the forgiveness is a lot easier on amateur. So you don't miss by anywhere near as far than on Pro-Am, then on Pro, then on Master, then on Legend. So if you get like a +5, you miss by 5 degrees on Legend, you're going to go 20, 30, 40 yards right. If you miss by 5 degrees on Pro-Am, you're just going to go 1 or 2 yards right. So again, the punishments aren't as brutal. So there you have it, guys. That's my overview of all the settings. Please let me know what you think, if that information was useful. I can't wait now for the game. We are just 3 or 4 days away. So I'm just looking forward to getting in there and getting an understanding more detail. But hopefully that gives you an understanding of where you want to start, what difficulty you think would be best for you, how you want to play the game. Guys, it's your choice. Don't let all these people go, oh, you're doing this, you're doing that, oh, you're a loser because you're not playing on the toughest difficulty, oh, you're not a true sim. Whatever, it's your game, it's your life. Play it your way, have fun with it. That's the most important part. And I will catch you all soon for the next gameplay breakdown from 2K25. Peace out, love you all.